New Year, who dis? Last year as gamers, we ate well. We had Ghost of Yotei, a new entry in the Silent Hill franchise with Silent Hill F. 2025 was also the year for remakes. We got the remake of the first Gears of War with Gears of War Reloaded, a remake of the third entry of the Metal Gear Solid series with Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. It also had a return or redemption of the FPS giant Battlefield series. DICE realized their mistakes from Battlefield 2042. They silently went to work and listened to the community feedback with the leadership of FPS legend Vince Pella. R.I.P. Vince. He brought back Battlefield into the spotlight again, and finally dethroned Call of Duty. Nintendo released a new console with the Nintendo Switch 2, and 3D Donkey Kong made a comeback with Donkey Kong Bonanza, a new Mario Kart with Mario Kart World. There were great AAA titles like the ones mentioned, but they weren't the only ones that dominated. In 2025 was the year of the indie and the AA game studios. Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, Blueprints, Arc Raiders, and 2025's Game of the Year, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. They gave AAA studios and publishers a run for their money. It shook the foundation of quality over quantity. The lineup so far for 2026 looks like it's going to surpass, or at very least be on par with the amazing games that came out last year. GTA will dominate the holiday season, unless the story and gameplay is somehow really bad, like Mind's Eye, which I highly doubt. Or it's just riddled with bugs. There will be no dethroning GTA 6 this holiday season, so let's get it out the way. GTA 6 will most likely be everyone's game of the year, but that's boring. Here are my top 26 games that I think worth keeping an eye on that are not GTA 6. There's a lot of 6s in here. This is the list for the games announced and have at least a release window confirmed in 2026. At the time of recording this video, it is January 5th. I'm sure there will be more announcements, trailer drops soon, as Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft do a direct around February, March, and of course E3 in June. Summer Game Fest, RIP E3. The top 10s in this list will be the most likely games I will get day one. Skip to the timestamp if you want to jump to my top 10 anticipated games of 2026. Number 26, Forza Horizon 6, Tokyo. Growing up with Need for Speed Underground, Burnout, and Midnight Club in the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube days, it scratches the itch of going fast. During the early 2000s, we also had a little movie called Fast and the Furious. The movies were actually about fast cars, driving around, underground racing, and it just happens to have action as well. Forza Horizon 6 is a direct follow-up of Forza Horizon 5. We're going from the sunny desert hot climate-like landscapes of Mexico to the neon-lit streets of Tokyo. Finally, we're getting a game that closely resembles Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Japan has been a highly requested setting for the Forza series. Hopefully they can take what they learned in Forza Horizon 5 and add in new cars, customization, fun tracks to racing, if you're looking for something different than the usual FPS and sports games. This is shaping up to be a good in-between games or palate cleanser. This game is set to release May 19th, 2026. It will be available on Xbox Series S and X, PC, and later on PS5. We will be seeing a lot of what used to be Xbox exclusives released on other platforms now. Now, if we can get a good Burnout game, or at least a remaster of Burnout 3, that'd be cool. Number 25, Reanimal. If you've played and are a fan of Little Nightmares 1 and 2, Limbo, and other horror-esque games like it, then Reanimal's up your alley. With the lackluster release of Little Nightmares 3, Tarsier Studios is creating the spiritual successor to Little Nightmares 1 and 2, as they are the studio that made the first two Little Nightmare games. The game is about two siblings escaping their home. Their whole world has turned into a hellish version of it. Along the way, you will try to rescue friends as well. This game will also feature local co-op and online multiplayer. If you've played It Takes Two, Split Fiction, A Way Out, then this should feel fairly familiar. You have to work together to solve environmental puzzles and escape from monsters in order to progress forward and figure out what's going on and get to safety. Reanimo is shaping up to have tons of environmental storytelling. The show, not tell. Indie and AA developers seem to have started out the year strong. This will release on February 13th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. Number 24, Phantom Blade Zero. My first impressions of Phantom Blade Zero were that it looks like Sekiro and Black Myth Wukong had a baby. Phantom Blade would be the outcome. If you're a fan of this style of game, third-person action hack and slash meets Souls-like, but not its difficulty, then I think this is the game for you. It is closely similar to Black Myth Wukong in setting and some of its gameplay features. It is also made by a Chinese developer. This generation, these Chinese developers are a cookie. Black Myth Wukong, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, and now Phantom Blade Zero. They are growing both in scope and quality. There are some critiques of the game because it's catering to the lower end of players with making it too easy and accessible for everyone rather than the get good mentality, and making it kick your ass until you learn the patterns, mechanics, or you just drop it completely. We'll see how this turns out. The game is set to release on September 8th on PC and PS5.
Babe, what's wrong?
I'm sorry.
Number 23, High on Life 2. High on Life is a series that heavily relies on millennial humor, which consists of sarcasm, self-deprecation, and absurdity. Forged in the early internet culture, cartoons, and more edgy themes because of anime and Adult Swim, this is up your alley. The original concept was from the creators of Rick and Morty. The sequel has no connection to Justin Roiland, nor is he involved with the project. Controversy aside, this can be a good game to play in between big story-driven titles. I enjoyed the first game. The story was absurd, but it worked for the humor, and it ironically pokes fun of itself and games in general. They break the fourth wall to make fun of gaming tropes common in video game mechanics. In the sequel, it looks like we become a highly successful bounty hunter. But the bad guy this time is not an intergalactic cartel. It is big space pharma. Even in space, they need to sell you a medicine that just treats illness rather than cures it. High on Life 2 releases on February 13th for the Xbox Series X and S, PC, and PS5. No word on the Switch 2 version yet, but it will most likely release later on.
Humans are barely sentient. Scientists have done studies, and their brains are like half the size of ours.
One day, on the island where Yoshi and his friends live.
Number 22,
A talking book.
Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. So far, Nintendo hasn't announced many games to be released in 2026. At least the big first-party heavy hitters like Mario and Zelda. Looking back at the past few years, Nintendo usually has a direct in February, so I'm sure we'll get a few more announcements and release dates for the games. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is another side-scroller in the Yoshi series. The premise of this game is that a book shoots out of the sky. Yoshi and the gang go and investigate what just fell. It is a talking book who wants to know what's written within its pages. Yoshi jumps in and explores its pages. If you've played the previous Yoshi games, like Yoshi's Epic Yarn, this will be very familiar. The art direction reminds me of Yoshi's Island back in the SNES days. It has that hand-drawn children's book art, but with 2.5D graphics mixed in. This is a good platformer to keep an eye out for. This is slated for spring of 2026, but we'll most likely get a definitive release date in February's Nintendo Direct.
Hey, we found some dandelions. Touch them and they'll scatter in the air. Oh no, that creature is stuck. It seems like the dandelions can absorb nutrients. Oh, they can even cause rocks to crack. Thanks to them, we were able to break the rock. It looks like there are still lots of unusual creatures residing within the book. A page-turning adventure awaits. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book launches on Nintendo Switch 2 next spring.
Number 21, Parasite Mutant. 2026 is shaping up to be the revival of spiritual successors and indie devs taking the charge in bringing in gaming classics like Dino Crisis and now Parasite Eve. Capcom and Square Enix have been slacking in bringing these fan favorites. Isotruna said fine, we'll do it ourselves. Square Enix has catalogs of RPGs that would be great sequels, or at least remakes or remasters. Please remake or remaster Chrono Trigger, you damn cowards! Parasite Eve is a survival horror and RPG. Parasite Mutant takes these elements and brings them to 2026. If you've played the Final Fantasy VII remakes, this will be very familiar. It is not fleshed out or action heavy as those. There will be an active time bar or ATB where you wait and fill up your gauge in order to be able to perform attacks or special moves. Parasite Mutant is set to release sometime in 2026 for PlayStation 5 and PC. There's a demo out already on Steam and I highly suggest you try it. Number 20, Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight. A Lego Batman, really? I'm sure you're thinking in your head. Okay, hear me out. It's been basically 11 years since we had a proper Batman Arkham game. Yes, you heard that right. It's been 11 years since Batman Arkham Knight. While Arkham Knight is a bit divisive because of its overuse of the Batmobile, it's still a solid entry in the Arkham trilogy. TT Games are going all in for this Lego entry. They're going to reference all of the Batman universe, from the comics, the movies, animated series, and yes, the Arkham games. They've created Batman Arkham City and Knight in Lego form, taking the combat from Arkham games but simplifying it for a more general audience. I think this can scratch the Batman itch for now. There are rumors that Rocksteady is finally working on a new entry in the Batman series, or at least, I hope, not a live service game like the disaster that was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight releases on May 29th for PS5, Xbox Series S and X, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. Number 19, Gears of War E-Day. One of Xbox's industry-defining series, Gears of War was pivotal to the dominance of the 360 during the 7th generation console. That comprises of the 360, PS3, and Nintendo Wii. It redefined cover-based third-person shooters and online multiplayer along with Halo franchise and Call of Duty. Gears of War E-Day is a prequel to the first Gears of War, which a remaster came out of last year. We follow Marcus Phoenix and Dominic Santiago during the first contact of the Locust Swarm, an event called Emergence Day. We will finally know what happened that led to the events of the first Gears of War, and why Marcus ends up in jail. E-Day is set to release in 2026. The official release date should be revealed in some upcoming Xbox showcase. Besides Xbox, it will also be available on PS5. The remaster of the first Gears of War launched on PS5 as well. Who would have thought we would see an Xbox exclusive on other platforms? Number 18, Code Vein 2. If you're into Souls-like games, but also anime, Code Vein 2 is your game. It is an action RPG set in a post-apocalyptic world where you play as revenant hunters, fighting against mysterious entities that are corrupting beings of the world into horrific monsters. If you played the first Code Vein, you know what you're getting into, as well as if you played Elden Ring, Dark Souls, or Bloodborne. If you're looking to scratch that Souls-like itch, then I think this satisfies it. But it's not the only Souls-like game coming out this year. Code Vein 2 released on January 30th for Xbox Series S, X, PS5, and PC.
Most people think time is like a river.
that flows swiftly.
Number 17, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time Remake. The Prince of Persia series has been lost to the sands of time. Not until recently has the franchise gotten more attention. Ubisoft has only released 2D Metroidvania style Prince of Persia games, with the most recent release being The Lost Crown. The fuck you mean Ubisoft canceled 6 games? Oh my god. Ubisoft, what are you doing? So, scratch that then. Number 17 is Toxic Commando. As of writing, January 21st, 2026, we just got confirmation that 6 games have been cancelled by Ubisoft. That includes Prince of Persia Sands of Time Remake. For fuck's sake, Ubisoft can't do shit, right? And the Black Flag remake also got canned. It looks like it will continue to be lost to the sands of time. Okay, let's look at the bright side. Maybe they're gonna fuck it up and tarnish the Prince of Persia game. This means more time to try new games, and that new game is Toxic Commando. Since Valve is allergic to number 3, Half-Life 3, Portal 3, Left 4 Dead 3, John Carpenter decided to take things into his own hands in what seems to be a spiritual successor, or inspired by Left 4 Dead, taking his filmmaker chops from acclaimed horror movies like The Thing. No, not that thing. No, not that thing. Definitely not that thing. Yes, that thing. This is shaping up to be a promising co-op shooter that Left 4 Dead has left behind. Hopefully, this can scratch that itch. Number 16, The Blood of the Dawnwalker. You ever wanted to play a dark fantasy medieval game, but you play as a medieval blade? Now let's say this game was made from the former senior developers that made The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077, then look no further than Rebel Wolf Studios' debut game, Blood of the Dawnwalker. Set in the alternate 14th century Europe during the Black Death Plague. We follow Cohen, a human with a series of unfortunate events, or fortunate if you're a half-glass full kind of person, gets turned into a vampire. He doesn't get fully transformed into a vampire because of his blood having silver in it. The choices and actions you take shape the story. Every decision has a consequence. He is in a race against time to save his family as they were kidnapped by the vampires. This game is shaping up to be a sleeper hit. If this is successful, we want a Blade game. Blood of the Dawnwalker is set to come out in 2026 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. No definitive date yet. Number 16, The Blood of the Dawnwalker. Number 15, Sorrows. Sorrows is an interesting game from what I've been seeing so far. Not a huge fan of roguelike games, but the setting and premise of Sorrows is interesting. House Marquee Studios are the developers that made Returnal. I would say that this is the only roguelike game that I actually enjoyed. The premise of Sorrows is that we're exploring an off-world colony, where an ominous looking eclipse on planet Carcosa is looming. A lot of the game has religious Hindu elements and mythology that not many games have explored yet. If you enjoy bullet hell, RPG and roguelike elements with space Hindu setting, I think this is your game. Sorrows is a PlayStation 5 exclusive set to release April 30th, 2026.
You've been to the sea before? On Earth?
Number 14, Pragmata. Capcom have been pretty secretive and tight-lipped about Pragmata. Not much is known about the game or its premise, just that we will play as Hugh, a worker in a lunar space colony. We meet Diana, an android who we team up with and try to get back to Earth, as the lunar colony has been taken over by the AI who has gone rogue. It is a third-person shooter action adventure. The unique gameplay for Pragmata is that Diana is able to hack in real time the hostile AI androids in order to expose the enemy's weak points, with various weapons and hacking abilities making this game interesting to play. The hacking is a puzzle that you must solve while still being in the fight. While this game sounds counterintuitive, somehow it works. There's a game demo out on Steam if you want to give it a try. I've played it multiple times, and I rarely do that for game demos. This game is shaping up to be another sleeper hit for me. Pragmata's releases on April 24th for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2.
PlayStation.
It's been years.
Number 13, Tomb Raider 1 Remake. Lara Croft is one of the OG heroines from the 90s, where not many female protagonists were given a chance other than being the damsel in distress and was in another castle. Without Lara Croft, there will be no 3D Prince of Persia, Uncharted, Assassin's Creed. 2026 marks the 30th anniversary of Lara Croft. Crazy to think it's been 3 decades of Tomb Raider. During the Video Game Awards, Square Enix announced not one, but 2 entries in the Tomb Raider series. One brand new entry, Tomb Raider Catalyst, which is set to release in 2027, and a remake of the very first Tomb Raider that released in 1996. This is set to release sometime in 2026.
Shining stones imbued with humankind's never-ending dreams.
Number 12, Neo 3. Neo is often compared or put into the Souls-like genre. It is a game where it's high difficulty curve, but I don't think it's at the level of Dark Souls or Elden Ring. Neo is an action RPG that its setting and premise closely mirrors Onimusha series. It takes place in the 1600s in Japan, where you're an Irish mercenary who becomes a samurai and fights yokai, other supernatural beings and entities. Where Neo 3 differs from its previous 2 entries is that it will be a bit more open world rather than its more linear base levels of the previous 2 games. So if you're a fan of dark fantasy Japan during the Edo period with a bit of Souls-like challenge, this is the game for you. Neo 3 is set to release on February 6th on PS5 and PC.
Takechio.
Number 11, Halo Campaign Evolved. Halo is synonymous with bringing in the era of Xbox and the era of Xbox Live. We wouldn't have first-person multiplayer shooters without Halo and Call of Duty laying down the foundation. The midnight releases of Halo 2 and 3 were epic. Halo was such a cultural phenomenon that it shut down Times Square in New York City. 2026 marks the 25th anniversary of the Halo series. Halo is a shadow of its former self. The Bungie era of Halo is a distant memory, and the 343 era of Halo have been lackluster to say the least. 343 Industries, I mean Halo Studios, are remaking the very first Halo. Again, what is strange is that they are only remaking the campaign, no multiplayer. I am wary of this. Halo Studios is just rebrand, but it's still the same people. They are switching over to the Unreal 5 engine, so who knows how this might turn out. Halo Campaign Evolved is set to release sometime in 2026, most likely in the fall. It is coming out for the Xbox Series X and S, PC, and PS5. Wow, I never thought I'd see the day what was once an Xbox exclusive is now on Sony console. What a timeline to relive in.
I'm not loving the odds.
I've had worse.
Number 10, 007 First Light. Having grown up in the 90s with the N64 and PS1, when you think of multiplayer during that era, the game that usually comes to mind for console multiplayer is GoldenEye. I have countless hours and memories of playing GoldenEye 007 with my friends and cousins. It has been a while since we've gotten a 007 game. 007 First Light is an origin story that will show how James Bond became the suave and charismatic secret agent the world has ever seen. This game isn't tied to any of the movies like the previous games. First Light is being developed by IO Interactive, the same developers that made the Hitman games. This is a match made in heaven. You can't ask for a better studio to handle 007 franchise than IO Interactive. I think this would be a great entry into the 007 series. First Light will release on May 27th on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2.
Dearest daughter, I've watched ye grow from a devilishly curious child.
Number 9. The Witcher 4. It's already been 10 years since The Witcher 3. Crazy to think that a whole decade has passed since it was released. In 2024, we got our first glimpse of The Witcher 4. We were blown away by CD Projekt Red's upcoming sequel to the Witcher franchise. It looks like our favorite Witcher, Geralt, will be sharing the spotlight with his adoptive daughter, Ciri. She will be taking more of a lead role in this new era. The Witcher 4 is ushering in a new trilogy in the series. The Witcher 4 will come out sometime in 2026. It will launch on the Xbox Series S and X, PS5, and PC.
It's tradition! Oh no, no, no!
It's all we wanted. For her to go to the woods, to go to the gods.
Gods? There are no gods here. There are only monsters.
They're combing the streets. Searching house to house.
If they arrest you two, they will take you to their headquarters, and you will not return.
Number 8. Marvel 1943, The Rise of Hydra. Not much is known about this Marvel game, but from the only trailer we have, I'm excited. I really hope it's not in development hell or it's going to get cancelled. I don't think there has ever been a Captain America game, let alone a Black Panther game. The creative director of Uncharted is spearheading this project, and I think it's in good hands. The game will be set during World War II, as Captain America is fighting the Nazis and the hidden occult society within the Third Reich, Hydra, which closely mirrors to the real-life occult or esoteric belief of the fascists, the Thule Society. It's not clear how the Black Panther fits into this, but it's really exciting to see. This Black Panther is not the Black Panther from the MCU. It is also not T'Challa. It is going to be his grandfather, Azuri. The plot of the story is based on the comic storyline Flags of Our Father by Reginald Hudlin. This game is also set to release sometime in 2026. I hope. It's launching for the Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC.
Our cat friend is definitely here too. By the look of things, he's not very far ahead.
The American boy is right on your heels.
Who the hell are you?
If you wanted us dead, we'd be dead. So what do you want?
Answers.
That's far enough! Stay out of my way! Stand aside! I do not take orders from anyone!
I don't have time for this.
Neither do I.
Hey, we met at Door's show.
Alan Wake, the writer. I'm Alex Casey. I'm looking into a murder.
Number 7. Max Payne Remake. The prominence of bullet time, both its usage and various parodies, is due to two franchises. The Matrix for movies and cinema, The second one is Max Payne for video games. 2026 also marks the 25th anniversary of Max Payne. Remedy Entertainment, and in collaboration with Rockstar, since they own the Max Payne franchise now, they are remaking the first two Max Paynes that were on the PS2, finally being brought back for newer generation. This grim noir style of game setting has been the staple in the series. While they have mentioned a release window of 2026, it has not been confirmed yet. There are some rumors of spring 2026. The Max Payne remake is going to be a bittersweet moment because James McCaffrey sadly passed away of cancer in 2023. Fuck you, cancer. His last official work was Alan Wake 2, where he voiced Alex Casey, which in the Remedy universe is the alternate universe of Max Payne. Both are NYPD cops or detectives. Who knows how they will treat the lines, if they have recorded new lines in the remake, or just remastered the old dialogue. This will definitely be a day one buy for me. This is launching on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC.
Shit. You don't really want to know. You're gonna get what's coming to you.
Am I dead?
Number 6. Onimusha, The Way of the Sword.
This gauntlet is for you.
Have you ever wondered, what if you can play Resident Evil, but in feudal Japan, and instead of zombies, the enemies are Onis and Yokais from Japan mythology? Well, that game does exist, and it's Onimusha. Onimusha series is the OG of these. Onimusha series is the OG of these type of hack and slash games set in Japan. Neo wouldn't exist without the inspiration of Onimusha. While Neo leans more towards the fantastical, Onimusha leans more towards the grotesque and survival horror atmosphere. This new entry in the Onimusha series is shaping up to be a hit in the genre. The last entry of Onimusha was 20 years ago. Onimusha 4 has been long overdue. Capcom has been cooking lately with these remasters and revivals of old franchises. Now, if only they could do the same for Dino Crisis. Onimusha Way of the Sword is set to come out on sometime in 2026. It will launch on the Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC.
Those you got in there.
Turns out Miyamoto Musashi was just a brute with a sword after all.
Being tough isn't enough. A warrior meditates on what strength really means.
Enjoying your new toys, I see.
Guardian!
Hey, Musashi!
PlayStation.
So this is Minakami Village. A ritual so forbidden that speaking of it is taboo.
Number 5. Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly Remake. Fatal Frame is a very unique horror series. One of my favorite survival horror games is Fatal Frame 2. The game rewards you for being scared and getting up close and personal with the ghosts and spirits with your camera obscura. The camera obscura and the film, yes, this is a millennial type game, where we get to hit the wave of nostalgia with old tech. The film has special properties to be able to exorcise the spirits and ghosts in order to defeat them. Technically, there was already a remaster for Crimson Butterfly on the Wii with motion controls, but this one's a full-blown remake. You will be able to take a selfie with the ghost in Minakami Village on March 12th on the Xbox Series X and S, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2.
It's all because we ran away. Mayu, we'll be together forever.
Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly Remake.
Shall we begin?
Number 4. Wolverine. We haven't had a Wolverine game since the movie tie-in game X-Men Origins Wolverine. that came out 17 years ago in 2009. While licensed games and movie tie-in games were usually cash grabs by the execs to cash in on the popularity of all the hype of said movie, the 2009 Wolverine game was actually pretty good. It was a God of War, Devil May Cry style hack and slash game, but it was pretty good. In that same year, we would see a turning point for superhero games, Batman Arkham Asylum. Fast forward to 2026, with superhero games like Batman Arkham series, the Insomniac Spider-Man games, we have come a long way, where companies actually take these licensed games seriously. Marvel's Wolverine has been long awaited, and it's Insomniac that is making a return for Wolverine. I think the game is in good hands. It will be a banger. There's still no official release date except for 2026. Many of these games have no release date, most likely due to GTA 6. There were rumors that it may come out during the holiday season, but any game that's going to come out near GTA 6 is most likely going to do badly. Not because the games suck necessarily, it's just that GTA 6 has been long awaited and transcends pop culture and the cultural zeitgeist. Marvel's Wolverine is a PS5 exclusive.
I'm Wolverine.
PlayStation.
Do you feel it? Something is coming.
Number 3. Control Resonant. Remedy Entertainment seems to be cooking in 2026. The remakes for Max Payne 1 and 2, and now the sequel for Control. Control Resonant. If you're a fan of conspiracy theories and Marvel-level interconnected multiverse things, Remedy games and especially Control is a must-play. While the first Control we follow Jesse Faden, who becomes the director of the Federal Bureau of Control. Basically, they are the Men in Black. They are a secret government organization that investigates and combats supernatural, paranormal activities, and entities. They are interconnected with other Remedy games such as Alan Wake and Quantum Break, which I recently played and 100%. I won't spoil too much from the first one. I highly suggest you all go play it if you haven't. Control Resonant will be following her brother, Dylan Faden. We will be getting out of the oldest house, and now on the streets of Manhattan, where it looks like all messed up like Inception. Dreams within dreams, realms within realms, and reality. It's going to be really metaphysical. I would highly suggest watching summary videos or analysis to really understand the world of Remedy universe. Control Resonant is coming out sometime in 2026. It's launching on Xbox Series S and X, PS5, and PC.
For what would follow.
Pace yourself. It's gonna get weirder.
PlayStation.
Number 2. Mariachi Legends. While most of the games on this list are AAA and AA titles, this indie game I think can be a sleeper hit. We rarely get a game where it's heavily influenced by Mexican folklore, let alone made by a Mexican indie studio, Albert Studios, based in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. This Metroidvania is taking Day of the Dead culture and also elements from Mexican legends like El Charro Negro or the Black Horseman, where in Mexican folklore, El Charro Negro is associated with the devil or death itself. If he appears, he would offer gold and riches, or what you desire, in exchange for your soul. It would essentially be a pact with the devil, or pacto con la muerte, or a pact with death. Many compare it to Blasphemy, which is another indie Metroidvania game, but I think this can stand out on its own. Albert Studios seems to be taking what they learned from their shortcomings on 9 Years of Shadow, another Metroidvania. It's a good game, but not anything different from other games in the genre. I would highly suggest getting 9 Years of Shadow instead. Mariachi Legends seems to be shaping up to be a love note to Mexican culture to the world, and I'm all for it. Mariachi Legends is set to release sometime in the spring. It is set to launch on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. Number 1. Resident Evil 9 Requiem. The next numbered entry in Resident Evil series finally brings back the established character from the original PS1 trilogy, Leon S. Kennedy, everyone's favorite Boy Scout. Now Leon is a hardened agent working for the government. We didn't know what the rest of the crew was up to, except for Chris Redfield. Now we'll find out what Leon was up to between Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 9. As I'm writing this script, I am realizing we have no idea what Claire, Jill, Leon, Barry, Rebecca have been up to for all these years. Resident Evil 9 also brings in a new face, Grace Ashcroft. She's the daughter of journalist Alyssa Ashcroft from Resident Evil Outbreak Files 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 2. She was referenced in Resident Evil 7 as being the only confirmed survivor of Outbreak. Resident Evil 9 will blend two styles of Resident Evil. The first person is more horror-driven from Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 with Grace, and the action horror-driven gameplay of Resident Evil 4 with Leon. So there will be a bit for everyone who prefers either or. I'm curious to find out where Capcom is going to take Resident Evil, as there have been rumors that they want to retire the old guard of characters like Chris, Leon, Jill, and Claire, so they can tell new stories. Will this be Leon's last hurrah as the main character and will move on to a more mentor secondary role in future iterations, or will they kill him off? Resident Evil 9 Requiem rises from the grave February 27th. It is set to launch on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. 2026 is shaping up to be another great year for gaming. While the world and the industry is being set on fire, at least for the meantime, we'll be entertained. These are my top 26 games to look out for in 2026 that are not GTA 6. What do you think? Do you agree? Did I miss other games that you think we should be on the lookout for this year? Let me know in the comments below. Please rate, comment, subscribe, as it would help me out a lot in the algorithm. Thank you for watching and see you all in the next video. Peace.
You there, Leon?
Yeah.
Hey, over here.
FBI, what are you doing here?
Would you like to see what's hidden under the hood?
Don't do anything stupid.
Me? Never. I think I want a second opinion.